Shalom. Moving on now to Psalm 65. For the leader, a psalm of David, a song. Praise befits you in Zion, O God. Vows are paid to you. All mankind comes to you, you who hear prayer. When all manner of sins overwhelm me, it is you who forgive our iniquities. Happy is the man you choose and bring near to dwell in your courts. May we be sated with the blessings of your house, your holy temple. Answer us with victory through awesome deeds, O God, our deliverer, in whom all the ends of the earth and the distant seas put their trust, who by his power fixed the mountains firmly, who is girded with might, who stills the raging seas, the raging waves, and tumultuous peoples. Those who live at the ends of the earth are awed by your signs. You make the lands of sunrise and sunset shout for joy. You take care of the earth and irrigate it. You enrich it greatly with the channel of God full of water. You provide grain for men, for so do you prepare it. Saturating its furrows, leveling its ridges, you soften it with showers, you bless its growth. You crown the year with your bounty. Fatness is distilled in your paths. The pasture lands distill it. The hills are girded with joy. The meadows are clothed with flocks. The valleys mantled with grain. They raise a shout. They break into song. What a beautiful lyrical psalm this is, full of imagery from nature and also filled with great wisdom about the need for unity and the basic connection among human beings and within nature. We live in a world today that is so polarized, where so many of us take sides, and where there are so many splits and divisions, such that you can have situations where mayors of cities will stand up in front of their public and declare that wearing masks during this time of pandemic is mandatory in public places and outside. And at the same time, while they make their announcements, they have to listen to the shouts of hecklers who are demanding, under the guise of personal freedom and liberty, that their freedom is being impinged upon and limited because they are being asked to take basic safety precautions. We have such divisions and splits in our society, where you can have groups of people who loudly and vociferously resist all attempts and efforts to bring about safety regulations, basic safety rules to preserve the health and well-being of our citizens. It's amazing, but we do have these rifts, and we do have these deep divisions in our society. People who, under the banner of personal liberty and freedom, and at the same time tend to forget that while they believe their liberty and freedom are being threatened, on a much more serious level, the health and well-being and lives of the rest of us are being threatened by a virus that needs drastic action and strong containment measures. Nevertheless, we have to live with these divisions in our world. We have to live with other people who may disagree with our positions. We have to learn to coexist with those who take opposing sides. And so I'm struck by certain themes and language aspects of this psalm that, to me, bear out and emphasize the importance of unity that the divisions must be bridged, and that we must always remember the basic unity of our common humanity. The psalmist proclaims, "When all manner of sins overwhelm me, it is you who forgive our iniquities." Notice the shift here. When all manners of sins overwhelm me, first person singular, I am overwhelmed by my sins. It is you, God, who forgive our iniquities. Why doesn't it say, it is you, God, who forgive my iniquities? I'm overwhelmed with sins. So the second part of that clause ought to be a reference to my sins. God forgives my iniquities. But instead, the language shifts to the first person plural, from the me to the our, in order to remind me that I am not alone in my iniquities. That even though sometimes I feel that my sins are so singular and unique and overwhelming in their I-ness, in their me-ness, not mean, although mean possibly as well, but me, it is God who forgives the iniquities of all of us, because there are no people who are free from sin. Everyone is guilty of iniquities, and at the same time, each and every one of us, no matter how serious these iniquities may be, each and every one of us is subject to God's forgiveness. And we are all together in this. We are together in our sinfulness, and we are also all together in under the umbrella of God's forgiveness and atonement. That is a tremendously comforting and unifying image. And the other unifying image here refers to the idea of those who live at the ends of the earth are awed by your signs. You make the lands of sunrise and sunset shout for joy. So there are lands that might be observing sunrise at the same time as there are other lands who are observing sunset. Again, the psalmist refers to an earth that is flat with four corners. Of course, nowadays and for centuries we've known that the earth is round, a globe, but at the same time there are places in our earth halfway across the globe where sunset is happening at the same time as sunrise is occurring in our land. But no matter where we live on the globe, no matter where we are, the psalmist says, you take care of the earth, God, and you irrigate it, you enrich it greatly, you provide grain, you soften the earth with showers, you bless its growth, you crown the year with your bounty. The meadows are clothed with flocks, the valleys mantled with grain. The earth and nature are personified in the way that they raise a shout and break into song, praising and singing to God for God's bounty. The earth and nature are all one, no matter where we are on this globe, whether we are in a zone of sunrise or in a zone where sunset is happening, whether we are in a desert land or a land filled with trees and forests. Wherever we are, God's bounty extends through all the earth, and God's bounty and forgiveness and atonement also extends towards all human beings. This bears out the basic spiritual idea of connectivity. Everything being connected, everything being essentially one under the umbrella and under the shelter of God's beneficence. Let's keep this in mind as we continue to strive and contend with a time and a world filled with divisions, with divisiveness, with misunderstanding, and with hate. Only a vision of unity and universal love will be able to vanquish all the harsh divisions and all the harsh divisiveness that separate us. I hope and pray that through God's wisdom, we will continue to tap in to that inner unity that keeps us all essentially together as one. Thank you.